In the remote wilderness of the Sakha Republic in Siberia, a young girl not yet 4 years old disappeared into one of the coldest and most dangerous forests on Earth. It began on a quiet July day in 2014 when Karina Chikatova, a small child living in a village surrounded by dense taiga, tried to follow her father. He had left for his native village without realizing his daughter and her small dog were attempting to catch up behind him. She wandered deep into the forest, completely unaware of the life-threatening dangers surrounding her: bears, wolves, and sub-zero nighttime temperatures. Her disappearance went unnoticed for 4 critical days. When the family realized she was missing, panic erupted, but precious time had already been lost. Despite the urgency, the rescue efforts were hampered by the size and isolation of the Siberian wilderness. As search teams set out, Karina was already surviving on her own. During these days, temperatures dropped to near freezing at night, and the tall grasses concealed her from view. The one thing standing between her and certain death was her puppy, Nida. This small companion became her source of warmth during the freezing nights, curling up against her fragile body and sharing its heat. The dog didn't leave her side for 9 days. Meanwhile, Karina survived by drinking water from a nearby stream and foraging for wild berries. She hid from large animals and predators in the high, dense grass and tried to stay quiet and still. Her small size made her nearly impossible to spot from a distance. The terrain was swampy in places, and she had lost her shoes early on, walking barefoot across the rough, uneven ground. Then, unexpectedly, the dog disappeared. For Karina, it meant being completely alone for the first time. But Nida wasn't abandoning her. The brave little dog returned to the village, tired, thin, and clearly distressed. When villagers saw the dog without Karina, they feared the worst. But the fact that the dog came back sparked renewed hope. Search parties changed direction, following the dog's route. They knew the forest was vast, but the dog had come from somewhere. Nida led them into the dense taiga, tracing her own steps. Every movement the rescuers made was critical, and every hour counted. Eventually, more than 11 days after Karina had first gone missing, they spotted something. Hidden in a patch of tall grass just over 3 miles from her home, Karina was lying still, exhausted, mosquito-bitten, and weak, but miraculously alive. She was barely able to speak, dehydrated and hungry, but conscious. The tall grass had hidden her from the aerial searchers, and her stillness had made her nearly invisible. The puppy's warmth had saved her from the cold, and its return had guided the rescuers to her side. The bond between a child and her dog had turned into a story of survival. What happened next stunned people across Russia and the world. Karina was taken to a hospital where she received immediate medical care. She had no serious injuries, but she was barefoot, her feet swollen from walking through rough terrain. The story of Karina and Nida captured hearts and headlines. People were amazed not only by the resilience of a 3-year-old girl but by the devotion of a small dog who did everything in its power to keep her alive. Officials and locals praised the child's bravery and survival instincts, calling it nothing short of a miracle. Later, a statue was erected in Yakutsk to honor the unbreakable bond between the girl and her dog. The statue features Karina and Nida standing together, a tribute to loyalty, love, and the silent strength of a small child lost in one of the world's harshest environments. Karina's survival became a symbol of hope and resilience. Against nature's unforgiving odds, she endured. And thanks to a faithful little dog, she came home. Deep in the heart of the vast and unforgiving Siberian wilderness, a story of unimaginable survival quietly unfolded, one that would go on to capture the attention of the world. It began when a young girl, just 3 years old, named Karina Chikatova, vanished into the endless green ocean of trees known as the taiga. In July 2014, she unknowingly followed her father as he set off for another village, accompanied only by her loyal little dog, Nida. The vast forest swallowed them quickly. For days, her disappearance went unnoticed. For whole days passed before her family realized she was gone. This delay proved dangerous, for the forest she had entered was no place for a child. It was filled with hungry wolves, wandering bears, and temperatures that dipped to near freezing at night, even in summer. Search parties were launched, but the thick underbrush and uneven terrain made it nearly impossible to find even an adult, let alone a tiny child. As the villagers desperately combed the landscape, Karina, barefoot and alone, was learning how to survive. With no food or tools, she relied only on instinct and determination. She ate what she could, berries she found in the bushes, and drank water from streams she stumbled upon. When night fell and cold settled in, her dog pressed its body against her to keep her warm, a living blanket of hope. By day, she crawled through grass taller than her head, hiding from the animals she could hear moving around her. She didn't cry, she knew it would attract predators. She didn't shout, there was no one to hear her. Still, she endured. On the 9th day, Nida, the dog who had never left her side, suddenly disappeared. Alone for the first time, Karina stayed put, not knowing whether the dog would return or whether danger had finally claimed her only friend. Back in the village, Nida reappeared, weak, thin, covered in twigs and dirt. At first, hope turned to horror, for many believed the dog's return meant Karina was gone. But something in Nida's behavior said otherwise. Searchers took notice. They decided to follow the dog back into the forest, hoping it would lead them to the child. And miraculously, that's exactly what it did. Guided by the dog's movements, searchers made their way back into the heart of the taiga. After 2 more days of searching and with almost no hope left, they found her. Karina was curled up in a bed of tall grass, just over 3 miles from her home, nearly invisible to the naked eye. She was weak, dirty, bitten by thousands of mosquitoes, and too tired to cry. But she was alive. Her shoes had long since been lost in the bogs, and her little feet were bruised and swollen. Still, she managed to smile faintly when she saw the familiar faces. The news of her survival spread quickly. Doctors treated her for dehydration and exposure, but she had escaped without serious injuries. The villagers called it a miracle. Russian media dubbed her Mowgli Girl, comparing her to the fictional child raised by the jungle. But unlike Mowgli, Karina hadn't been raised by wild animals. She had survived thanks to one incredibly loyal pet who refused to abandon her. A statue of Karina and her dog was later built in Yakutsk, showing the girl and the dog side by side, immortalized in bronze, a symbol of the deep and silent love that can exist between a human and an animal. The bond between Karina and Nida became a symbol of loyalty, trust, and bravery. The entire country celebrated their story, amazed by how a small child could survive alone in one of the harshest places on earth, and how a little dog had become the silent hero of it all. Experts later said that without the dog's warmth, she would have likely frozen to death. And without the dog's return to the village, the rescuers may have never found her in time. Her story reminded everyone that even in the darkest, coldest places, love and loyalty could create miracles. Karina's survival wasn't just a tale of endurance, it was a testament to the power of instinct, the will to live, and the bond that connects us to the animals we love. The Siberian forest that had nearly taken her life had instead given birth to a legend of resilience and friendship. Her courage, and the unwavering devotion of a small dog, made her one of the youngest survival heroes of the modern age. Today, that story continues to inspire millions, showing that even in silence, even in fear, even when hope is nearly lost, the smallest heart can hold on the longest.